Thank you, Eve. Thank you, and thank you everybody for joining us today. It's marvelous to have you all with us. We've got people from all around the world. Well, certainly this side of the hemisphere. Quite understandably, perhaps some of our colleagues in the Americas decided not to join us, as it would mean getting up at like 1:30 in the morning. So we'll let them off, but we will record the session, and we'll share the information with them and maybe put something on for them as well. So what's all this about? Well, basically, it would goes back a couple of months now, and Jay and I were having a conversation, and Jay mentioned that this wonderful thing called Sama had launched in Southeast Asia. And I'd been running mission hubs for about 2 years at this point, and we started talking. And the realization, after a couple more conversations with Eve, Chan Leong, and a few others, was that actually there's an alliance here that can be forged, and it could be to the betterment of us all. And we wanted to tell you just a little bit about that today, explain what that is, and we hope you think it's interesting. We hope you find it's useful. We certainly do. But this does rely on me now sharing my screen. And as those of you that know my level of technical skills, this probably means I will now cut you all off. Sharing is not turned on. Okay. There we go. See, I've got off to a good start. Oh, there we are. Here we go. Look at this. You know, after 5 years, you think I would have worked out how to do all this, wouldn't you? But my skills lie elsewhere. So I'm told at any rate. Okay, so I hope you can all see that. Yes? Cool.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. It looks good.
Great. So I've titled this Reimagining International Agency Collaboration. A somewhat grandiose title, perhaps, but bear with me, and I will sort of walk you through where my thinking is at. So for those of you that don't know me, this is a little bit about my background. That picture down there in the bottom corner was taken a few years ago before the hair started turning white and heavily photoshopped during the COVID period. I've been in agency life for, well, 30 odd years now, I guess, and I've worked within Omnicom, I've worked within independence. I spent a long time running a business called the Network One, which some of you may have come across, a large independent agencies network around the world, and started Mission Hubs about 2.5, nearly 3 years ago. Essentially, I'm an agency person, and if you want my personal branding, which you'll find on my LinkedIn, is I bring people together to make things happen. For whatever reason, I seem to have found a little niche in doing this, and I really enjoy meeting people around the world, bringing them together and spotting opportunities. So, you know, I'm a great believer your career takes you in a path eventually where you find somewhere that you settle and enjoy, and this is my space. But anyway, that's enough about me. Um, I wanted to share with you this, and I was wondering, you know, I sat down and started to think about this relationship and this presentation, and I thought, well, what's behind this? And I sort of to go a little bit deeper, and it sort of led me to a slightly more philosophical place, which was, okay, you know, when we think about what we do, what is the most powerful word in any language that we use in our sector, but also as a species in general, to much broader? What is the most powerful word that we can possibly use? And of course, the answer is a very small word, why? Why? 3 letters, but incredibly powerful. And why is that? Well, because it powers a human superpower, essentially. And it's a superpower that really separates humanity out from pretty much every other species on the planet. Because it empowers imagination. When you have the word why, you can imagine things. And Einstein got it right, along with many other things, obviously. You know, imagination is everything. It's the preview to what's coming. As human beings, we can imagine the impossible, we can imagine the possible, but we are able to make that jump. And of course, that's really central to what we do in our agency lives. You know, imagination sits at the top of this period. Imagination, if you like, is unfettered creativity. It's creativity that has no boundaries. It's the best brief you could ever possibly get, where the budget is, well, you tell us what you want to spend. You know, we have to play in this space that we call creativity on the pyramid, which is perhaps got more boundaries, limitations, social norms that impact on what we can do and what we can say. But imagination is driven by this word why. And imagination is when you can go, what if we do something? We can do it better. How can we change things? And, you know, you see this in all walks of civilization. I mean, go back 100 or so years and you were in the UK and you'd find gentlemen riding around on penny farthings like that picture there, trundling around. Come on 150 years and we're starting to drive around in, you know, electric vehicles. It took imagination to get there and someone to say why. Equally, go back even further in the medical space, and I apologize for those of you who are having breakfast. If you were here 500 years ago and you were ill, they'd put leeches on you. And this would be the cure-all for everything. And now we've mapped the genome, and that's because we have imagination. That's because people have said, how can we do this better? What is better? How can we make this situation work better for all of us? And forgive me, but I had to make this rather tenuous jump. But essentially, when you look at the holding company networks, which are over 100 years old in some cases, when you trace them back, they're based on a completely outmoded model. They operate in a legacy fashion for the most part. You've only got to look at the stock prices. They're hemorrhaging people. There's a reason for this. They're no longer fit for purpose. So you have to ask the question, is there a better way to do it? How can we improve on this? And this is the tenuous link, if you like, where we say, well, actually, with Sama and Mission Hubs, through a collaboration, we can make this better. We can do something slightly different. So this is what we've come up with, and we say we're stronger together, and I wholeheartedly believe that this is the case. Um, and essentially, what you see there, the words on the screen, I'll break them down for you in a second, but this is what we've got. And the important thing to look at is, this is a relationship that is built on trust. It's based on goodwill. It's not a financial relationship. No money has changed hands in creating this, and it won't change hands because that's not what this is about. It's about building a relationship between us at a network level, but also between you guys at an agency level, so that you've got partners and friends all around the world that you can tap into when you need. And it's done in the spirit of cooperation. So breaking it down, non-financial, as I mentioned, no one has benefited from this, and no one will benefit from this at a network level. Whatever you decide to do between you as agencies, it's entirely up to you, of course. That's on a project basis. We're working together. This is based on goodwill. It's based on respect. Again, hugely important. We're doing this because we want to. And for those of you that have worked in large holding companies, you'll understand perhaps that this is not at the center of what that is about. It is here. We will respect the network processes that are in place already. So Sama works in a slightly different way to Mission Hubs in some respects. That's cool. It's the differences that make us stronger, and we'll respect that. We're going to share, and we're going to collaborate, and we're going to do this stuff openly. That's the best way to work. Mission Hubs is built on the tenet of open collaboration, and Osama has a similar sort of approach. It's the best way to do business. And we're going to do all this because actually it's quite good fun, and we're going to enjoy ourselves along the way and hopefully make some money out of it. So you're asking what's in it for you, quite rightly. And, we have this line on the Mission Hub's website, more partners, more places, more solutions. And I think it's equally applicable here because that's what we're going to deliver across both of these networks. And hopefully that will generate more opportunities. It will certainly generate more connections. And how you use those is pretty much up to you, actually. So I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to explain to those of you who don't know Mission Hubs what Mission Hubs actually is, so you know what you've actually got access to. Mission Hubs is a wholly owned entity of the Mission Group. We sit slightly to one side. The Mission Group is a UK PLC. It's a small holding company and holding company standards, and it has those 5 pillars, if you like, are the main agencies that sit within the group, and then there's the sub agencies or specialist agencies that sort of sit within. So broadly speaking, you've got B2B with Bray Leno and B2C, B2C advertising and communications with Crow, Mongoose. You've got live events and sports marketing. Excuse me. Solaris is healthcare, and think BDW is construction and mostly UK orientated and building contractor marketing, such like. Within that group, we created something called Mission Advantage, and Mission Advantage is a suite of specialist skills that we offer out to our Mission Hubs partners, and they range from promotional marketing to data and analytics to production at K-Works to digital media to me at Mission Hubs partners. And this, if you like, is a sort of glue that we provide to our partners. If they want to access this, they can access this, they can buy these services from Mission Hubs. And of course, they can also provide services back into the Mission Group if they have something that's unique and interesting that they want to sell to us. This is what we do. Everybody has a purpose. This is the Mission Hub's purpose. We are about connecting the entrepreneurially spirited. We bring them together in spirits of collaboration and partnership. We do this through a process that we've termed philanthropic networking. Now, this is important because this is a personal hobby horse, so bear with. the world is an odd place at the moment, and taking a slightly perhaps liberal leftist view on the whole thing, my philosophy is actually if you help somebody and continue to help them, it comes back to you, and it comes back to you times X normally. So we have this philanthropic networking approach that we operate as a network, and this is actually built into the contracts that we have with the agencies and the terms of engagement. So that kind of sort of runs through. It enables us to help, it enables us to collaborate, but it also changes the mindset. Very quickly, so you can get an idea, we're in 52 cities now. We are a group of 31 agencies. We are international. Mission Hubs was set up to be international, and it will continue to grow to be international. It's never going to get more than about 100 agencies around the world, and that's kind of the point. And we offer everything that you guys do, so the training programs, the support, and all the rest of it. That's where we are currently. So the ones in red are where we have agencies, and we'll be sharing all this information as a pack, so don't worry, you don't have to scribble down names of countries in a hurry. So it's a pretty good coverage. Obviously, with you guys, we now dive much, much deeper into Southeast Asia, and we're able to offer you the rest of the world, and we'll continue to add to that. And all this information is freely available to you. This is my dots on a map slide, which is actually fairly meaningless because the cities are probably all in the wrong place, but hey ho. There are partners that we have, as you can see, all over the world. Wonderful part together once or twice a year for the Mission Hubs event when we can. We'll be moving that around the world. But as you can see, it's a rich mix of agencies, and we can dive into each one of those individually if you wish, so you can get an idea for what they do. This was our conference that we held in March. It was in London this year. We'll be taking it overseas next year. More on that later. Like your conference, you cannot replace a live event for bringing people together. It's an amazing opportunity. We have a Mission Hubs channel, which you can also access. And this is an ego trip for me, as you can totally tell. But basically, any agency that joins Mission Hubs, we offer them the opportunity to be interviewed, to tell their story, so we can share it with the rest of the network. There's about 60 pieces of content on there you're welcome to see. It's not just agencies. We've got people like Michael Farmer on there, Madison Avenue Manslaughter. We have consultants like Simon Rintut talking about agency relationships. There's a whole host of perhaps, I hope, useful information that you can tap into. So if you have a spare half hour, you're bored, take a look at that. There's some great stuff on there. So that's Mission Hubs. I am bang on nearly. So I'm going to hand back to Eve. Thank you for indulging me. Thank you for joining me on the call. And we are super excited about this. And, it's going to be great to be working with all of you guys and expanding our networks, basically doubling in size effectively overnight through this relationship. Eve, over to you. I'll stop sharing as well.
Sure. No worries. Thanks so much, Paul. CL, please, you can dive in straight.
Thank you. Thanks, Eve, and thanks so much, Paul, for the interesting sharing. I hope what Paul, just shared provided a good understanding, at least to our partners, where Mission Hubs came from, what they made of, and I guess more importantly, really is the philosophy behind, Mission Hubs in terms of why they do what they do. For everyone else, especially for those in Mission Hubs, I don't have as elaborate slides prepared. I definitely do not have as much time as Paul, but I want to do justice to the Sama members that's here as well. So I want to give a very quick overview around Sama and continue the story to where Paul left off. So in terms of philosophy and how we work, there really is a lot of similarities to how we started and why we are here in the first place. And I love that because I'm sure as Paul explains the why Mission Hubs exist, all of us in Sama can absolutely relate to that. And a big part of it is why all of us are in Sama as well. And then Jay has really walked the talk in really becoming the biggest philanthropic networker that we have seen, not just saying the words, but literally putting it into action as well. So I'm going to follow through the story a little bit and go deeper into how we can collaborate between Sama and Mission Hub. For Sama, we started because the region that we're operating in is extremely dispersed. Every single city within 10 countries that we operate from speaks a different language. We have representatives from Indonesia here, and they will be the first to tell you that for you to sort of dominate the entire Indonesia, over 300 languages and dialects are being spoken. So even if you know one Bahasa Indonesia, it only gets you so far. And the same is true and can be said about Thailand, Malaysia to a large extent, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, and so on and so forth. And because the region is so different, it's very difficult for each one of us to even pretend that we know our region. as an agency born out of Malaysia, I can't claim to be an expert in anywhere else out of KL. And then that's because there's just no unifying language for all of us yet. And as an extension to that, culture then becomes very different as well. So for us, Sama made sense because each one of us are an expert, not just in the things that we do, but also in the country that we are operating from. And by putting all of us together, we're now able to serve global regional brands, as well as local brands who aspire to get regional and global presence as well. So Sama for us then really isn't just about operating in isolation. It's largely about collaboration. And we exist to unify, innovate, and push the possibility of what's possible within APAC. For Sama, our mission, our biggest mission really is to break free from the bureaucracy and a one-size-fits-all solution. There's been one too many big agencies that try to push down, one solution that applies towards 10 different countries, hundreds of different cities across Southeast Asia. And we've seen that backfiring, and we're seeing the growth of local brands. We're seeing different strategies that has to be localized before it even makes sense to the people across the different regions. So we're coming from a lot more practical approach in terms of how we want to serve the market. But behind the big logo Sama, the agencies that are represented by Sama and the agencies that are powering Sama are known as the Masterful Mavericks. And it really is a combination between these two words, Masterful and Mavericks. And we really do want to live by this motto as well. The Masterful reflects the professionalism, the quality of work, and the spirit of excellence that we each individually carry. But the Maverick part of it refers to our reluctance to subscribe to any sort of norm that's being put together by the predecessor that comes before us. So we have enough respect and honor to all the good work that's being done, but at the same time, we do not want to be confined to the same boundaries from the previous agencies. So this sort of are our core values behind Sama. Today, Sama is present in more than 4 countries. We have 43 agencies across 4 different countries now, specifically in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. And we're still a baby in this effort. We started in August 2014, so we are barely even a year old yet. And we'll continue to expand into other regions, including Vietnam, Philippines, Hong Kong, and Cambodia as well. So these are the Southeast Asian countries that we're looking into. We already have a partner in Hong Kong as well. So our goal isn't just Southeast Asia. Our goal really is APAC. Together with Mission Hubs, we are hoping to get connections, network, and access into the other half of the world. That means, from Sama's point of view, we no longer need to go on a hunting ground to find trusted agencies to partner with. We're able to leverage straight into agencies within Mission Hub. So that's as much as I will share in terms of the slide, but I do want to go a bit deeper into how we can collaborate together. This first call isn't supposed to be the call where we all get to know each other really, really well. As Paul accurately put it, we probably need a lot more interaction and some FaceTime before we are able to truly understand what each of us do, even though on the surface, it looks like we're all doing very similar things. And I am a true believer of that, which is why I'm present face-to-face with every single agency that is on board Sama today, and we'll continue to do so. So from today, I hope, if anything, it creates an opportunity for you to be introduced to one another and creates an opportunity for you to realize that the other half of the world isn't so foreign and isn't so different. And through that familiarity and that comfort, that you would then reach out to each other on a separate occasion and really get connected. That's really how I expect this to spark. So without taking too much of your time, I will pass it on back to Eve to continue the rest of the agenda. But thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm hoping all of us are able to network productively today. Thanks so much, Paul, for putting this together.